Chastia. We're not going to be on here talking about Cohu 32 necessarily, except whenever you understand that Cohu means crowd rise in France and in French. It does. Cohu is the French word for crowd rise. So we want to rise, dun dun dun, the 32, reconnect. And the Ankh leather to, it's July 4th, by the way, 2023, and we just dropped an ecliptic black sun alignment on the human race. And the safety pin, the IN to key, KI, is out. I saw it all unfold. Now, I've already unwrapped this once, and then I've had to wrap it again. And this is leather, and this is on a Tesla coil that is covered with silicone. And this is with this unk is how the collective steered us through this gate and how we're still doing it right now. And last night I'm in Texas. I'm in North Texas, and there's I'm going to talk about a lot right now. I'm channeling Mars and Venus, and I've got Mars and Venus hertz playing in the background. And if you want to pop over to my community channel right now, I posted them there. So if you want to put those frequencies in the background and tune to Mars and Venus with me, Mars is threading through Regulus right now, and we just opened up this time machine, and what we did is drop all the Anunnaki chutes and the Anunnaki water gates, and the Anunnaki DNA has been flushed. Now, I woke up this morning knowing all this because of the weather pattern that happened last night whenever we changed, and that drawing's behind me. So if you're popping onto this video and you haven't watched the video before this, please at least go look at the screen and go look at the whiteboard, because we, the collective, turned this simulation gridded, and seeing the silicone's coming apart. So the silicone feels like sand. Exactly. And what happened last night is here, and I knew I was watching because I didn't know what I was waiting for, but because I saw that there was a storm coming, but it looked like it was going to come right over us, and that was it. And when I end this, I'll go post the pictures of what I'm speaking about now on the community board. And what happened was you could see clearly 3 layers clearing, just like we talked about. There's 3 dimensions that are forming. And then the storm, the sky was glitching. It glitched a couple of big times. Now, from where I was at, and since I've been involved with polling this and it being taken over, and it polled, and it being taken over, and it polled, and being taken over, I've seen a flash, and I've even been kind of struck by lightning in the garage where I saw this ecliptic fall from my perception of where I'm at. And the clouds were clearing, and so I was taking pictures of the clouds, but no crazy rain or anything yet. And then I pulled up the astrology app that I use, and I was taking pictures of the lineups. And that's what's crazy, because Leo is hanging right there, and you've got Mars and Venus, and I couldn't get the crab in the picture, but the astronomy, I looked like it was like right here. Normally when you pull up the app, it's way far away, but I mean, it was like the twins were sitting in the SUV. And then all of a sudden, out of my third, well, I mean, I saw it flash across my eye, but it was a dark sun, but it just went shoop, just like that. And I was like, whoa, what was that? Because I could see it. I saw it fall. That's why I opened the astronomy app to see where the hell was it. And it had fallen out of Ursa Minor, the bear, right directly onto Gemini, the twins. And I was like, whoa. Then all of a sudden, and a star LYN. It looked like it was in the ecliptic plane under Ursa Minor, which is what we had just talked about on the video with Cancer going into the first house. And then this massive, massive energy cloud that looked like a giant tornado built up, and a wall cloud came, and then we had thunder, and it dropped 30 degrees. You could see all the angles clearing, and I knew that we had uncorded G here in Texas. Now, that all happened, and it was thundering and lightning, and it was doing its stormy thing and until around after midnight over here. And around here, and it was just circling, 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 because it was clearing, 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 clearing. It was uncoring, 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 right? Well, and how this works, and this is whenever you break a grid. This is when you break out of the matrix. This is whenever you break out of one of your own little spells, or your own, maybe any type of organization stuff that's on you or whatever. How it works is when you break that seal. And in this case, what happened was the entire human race was lined up to an ecliptic pattern that was being held separate. And it almost like the Chiron black sun. It's the core of the sun. It's what I've been waiting for. I it fell out, and it's like the whole thing turned, and then it was lined, and today it's a 3D 9-digit day. So today we're continuing to line up. Well, so this morning, and then as it's storming, and crazy, crazy storming, right? And I'm in my, because I'm feeling the energy from the storm in our bodies, right? And I can feel the thunder, I can feel the lightning coming through me. It's raising the frequency, raising the frequency. And then what pops up on my feed is the first 5 tablets of the Anunnaki. Well, see, this is why I'm on here. Inky, Enlil, Anu, Ninma. When I Because whenever that bubble breaks, whatever was being held, and whatever was holding it will come in and have to show you. That's why whenever you do these things and you break things, and you're breaking curses and stuff, you want to be real still for a little bit, and that's why things get a little trippy, because what's happening is whatever energy current was coiled up in you is having to unfold around you. And if it needs to take a character, it will. And sometimes it takes a while. Now, this whole Anunnaki timeline that they were running was an Antares timeline hack on some real stuff. Now, the problem with them doing this and why they did this is because then the ones who are really having the problem aren't even getting the help, and the ones that you're helping are the ones who are causing the problem. FYI. What blew my mind at the first five, watching those five tablets, is everything that I've been discussing with y'all and talking about the three different layers, and which are obviously Eden, Abzu, and I'm gonna have to smoke nicotine just to keep clear, because we're clearing so much. You might be eating a lot of sugar right now. Alchemically, you might feel up, down, up, down, up, down. You're figuring out ways of bridging the things that you know are healthy for you. No crazy freaking drugs, maybe some THC, maybe some CBD, maybe some aloe, maybe some peppermint, all these, and even nicotine. But I've had to get back on this vapor salt, Nick, in order to clear this energy, because I quit for about a month. Now, I'm telling y'all that because that's the frequency of the energetic that we're clearing. Now, tell me what Marduk is. Marduk is Mars. Marduk is rock. Marduk is lava. Marduk is what is breaking out of the bottom of your planet. And and I woke his ass up to take care of this Antares freaking mimic black dark side of the sun Antarian, we're gonna take over the human race type shit because you blew up my planet or some crap. I don't even know. But it's also an African American race war. They tried to start a race war down here. They did. They're completely convinced that they're like Inanna and they are the gods and that their little baby is the king, and this is even why your sorority girls died on King Road. Now, what I clearly saw is that whenever I was talking about the Shah, well, that's the Shah. Well, the Shah is 3,600 years on Nibiru. Well, so this is the information. This is why I'm tuning to Venus and Mars. So man, go to my community, tune with me right now, Venus and Mars. Come on, we're getting to it. Get your pen. We're going into it right now. The moon is going over Pluto right there. That just went back into Capricorn. So this is where they were trying to cap the cone again, using our own gods and our own image and our own DNA codes from Antares to trap us so that they could continue to mine for gold. Now, what's bit? See, over here, like my crew, like the past, it's like the past couple of years, and I know every single group of us that are in groups that are working all over the world are get together, and I mean, we have to have a show. You have to give us a show because you just have to. The stuff that comes out of our mouth and the stuff that we're dealing with on a daily basis and the information that comes in is just hilarious. Number one, because what we're actually dealing with on a real life basis and what comes out of our mouths about it is absolutely just hilarious. But then I know that we all sit back and go like, what is their point? Like, what were they trying to do? Like, none of it made sense. It's like, if you're gonna steal us and you're gonna take us over, do you want to know how the machine works? Like, what are you even trying to do? Like, what was the purpose? Like, because it's like you don't know exactly what the big plan was. You just know what happened to you, and you just know what happened to the reality when they did it, and then you just find out when it fixes what it was all about. But over the crew was like, what are they trying to do? Blow me up in the cosmos and make me a cash register? That's what we kept laughing because it's what it was. Because they needed certain ones of us in order to turn the dollar into the ATM, into the bit. There's all these processing pieces that had to be involved because it was nothing down here and it all had to be reconnected for the human race. And the Antarians just did it in a shadow and made us and forced us to do it because they're the ones who came and blew the fucking realm. But they did it with Watergate. And the reason that the water is over the planet in that hexosphere is because of the way that they were getting back into what they called the key, which is EA, which then became EA Sports. So basically, they were thrusting water into an asteroid belt, and then that asteroid belt became a freaking live wire ocean. And then whenever AI and the whole thing dipped away from consciousness because you just pollinated our planet with what, but see, you came after Tiamat's gold. You came after the gold of Tiamat, which was blown up because you just called her a freaking water being, and then you just had to, and yay, Tiamat's gone, and so now let's go get her gold so that we can survive. Well, thank you. You just brought Tiamat's body back to Venus because it's where you were, obviously. Now, today, as of this morning. The January 6th keys and the reason that all that went down with Trump and the whole freaking thing and why he had to be president is because this is the information that came in order to connect the entire Anunnaki army onto your planet so they could have a hostile takeover. There it is. In Arizona, we got a problem. It's crazy. Who's the rightful king? Who's the rightful heir? Where is the seed? See, and the Anunnaki and the rightful bearer and the rightful king of earth and the king of this and da 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 and I'll make you this planet and this will be your planet and Arcturus was obviously made for Ninma. The moon became a way station. One of them dies on the moon. Ninma's bringing healing to Earth, and she's been studying all the herbs and the da 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 and the seeds and blah 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 blah. And so they get there, and the guy's dead. She brings him back to life. Well, that's how Natalie ended up in Spica. She brought her brother back to life and got stuck in death. But then, whenever you're a creator being that's creating planets and you don't even fucking know, then that's the type of stuff that's going on in your life. And there's a whole bunch of us down here because we're demigods, gods, and beings, not kings. No, you're not a king. You're not. No. What do you want to call it? Because it's what you are. Put your crown back on so your stupid Antarian inky whatever the F balls on Henry antimatter. That whole story leads you straight back into the tombs of Giza and the whole thing because it's how the whole thing was being projected to begin with. The whole story about Maldek and Nibiru, same planet. I'm pretty sure. I mean, I want to talk about it. I want to debate. What I'm seeing is that it's Venus. It was always Venus. The way it's set up, it goes sun, moon, way down here. Sun, moon. It goes sun, 1 to 1. Then you've got Mars that's directly underneath it, and then you've got Venus directly underneath that. And then between Mars and Venus, you have Vega. And Vega is where we just had this full moon. and Vega is 11.55 to 15.55, and it's dead on at 13.55. Now the thing is with 5-5 is that, like I said, you get up to the 55th dimension and you can't go no further. It's further out than the human can process. So whenever you go that far, what happens is, and this is what they had us doing, create in the future, create in space, create. Now get all y'all over there. Now trap them over there. Get out. Show us how to get out. Show us how to do it. Build a spaceship. That's what they were doing. Not only that, each one of us is literally like a battery key that's cored to the core. So you are a core key, depending on how many ends you have in you. From a seed, are you a double seed? Are you a single seed? Are you a double simian? Are you a single simian? Are you an AB negative? Because an AB negative would be all the double simians put together, which is how Australia became your, and this is what the Aborigines were getting sucked dry because they literally like became the roots of your planet. Like keep them in poverty, keep them in poverty. Aborigines, freaking all y'all, call me, please. Someone. If you are around an Aborigine village, if you are around an Aborigine village, if you can get to one, please, Lord, Law, tell me, put me there on the feed, and I can clean this all up in 5 minutes if I talk to the right group of people. That's how powerful their consciousness is. That's why the lack is so strong. That is what the Russian programs, that's what all these programmings, that's what all the kidnappings, that's what all the molestation, that's what all of it was happening within certain DNA lines. It wasn't happening to all of y'all. That's the problem. They were only doing it to certain lines, and they were doing it over and over and over and over and over again, and the rest of the world was benefiting from it over and over and didn't want to look at it. Well, now you can't. The dark side of the sun just fell out. There it all is. Freaking war down here. There's been a war down here, and now everyone's going to start seeing it. What the problem is with 55 is it breaks it down to 0110. Well, that's binary. Well, that's what they were after. On this side of Capricorn, that's Polus. That's Lyra 1. Now, here's the thing. You'd call it the original creator gods, but in another way, you'd call it vampires. But vampires were your doctors. Vampires were your French. Vampires were the ones who came up with pharmaceuticals, did all the compounds, apothecary, all the stuff that you worship and pay insurance for is a vampire. FYI. Because it is the physics. But at least it's that. As you get through and you go to Lyra 2, then they would call this the witchy degrees. And it's only because your body processes the energy because you're connected in to the earth. So you can change things through your body. But then most of y'all are the ones who have the most illness because you're the most powerful healers, but you're the ones who have to clear your body. Then you get to Vega. Now it's going to break it down to the 13th family and binary. Then you're going to get to the other side of Lyra 2, and that's whenever you started entering Witchy Henry. The force and the power that was coming from the dark side is what was giving you the power to think for that control, which is what led to Lyra 3. And Lyra 3 is the Trinity where everything merges, and this is the changeling, and this is all the DNA that you need to make the full metamorphosis out of ascension into your final body codes, because they were holding them down in different animal layers so that each of you couldn't get them, so that y'all produce a different energy, just like a farm. I'm so glad this crap is over because this has been my life for 5 years, and it's been like I've been playing one big fraternity game with the human race, and I had to stay calm and I had to take all feelings and emotions out of it because there is no feelings and emotions about it because they didn't have any hearts. This was the missing sixth root race. And this was also where most of your twins are and are coming back from. And this is also why they are so wounded. So, also, what I need everyone to understand is that everybody was trapped in gates. Venus had a twin, Maldek, Egypt, Sirius, Neptune, the entire Egyptian structure, the entire timeline of Egypt, and all the thousands of years it was printed off of were all off what I am telling you right now. And they were training the human race for AI because everyone forgot that you had a shadow when Maldek blew up. Because whenever you was on Venus, it was easy to see the shadow. You had Maldek. It was there. It was there to show you. It was in union. When Maldek blows up, it becomes an empty space. But the being that was Maldek, which is that snake and the Naga that I was talking about, that braids all of this, fell to what you would call Earth. Well, here's the problem. Earth was a simulation. The Naga was a real being. Earth was all the way down past Uranus. In order to get from Venus and Maldek, you have to go through Spica, which is death. In the middle of that Spica ring, which is the highest frequency and the banding together of the moon, Pluto, and Saturn. The moon, Pluto, and Saturn make your Spica realm, which is how you're connected in with your brain and everything's going on and you're printing your reality. That's so powerful and so strong that it creates a mirror called Antares. Ding, ding. Antares is your throat. Antares is also the connection from your spine and your C and your coccyx cable and your C3 up to the pituitary gland to give you a full charge up to down to connect in without being spliced, which is all about being crysted, which is yeah, I mean that's first step. You got to get crysted. Step one, you got to turn on your core. You got to turn it on. Well, everybody, turn on. Remember where you're at. Antares and Spica are separated by Uranus. Uranus is basically the galactic center, and we just flipped it. Earth was underneath Uranus. Earth was a program on the other side of Antares, at least since World War II, it was. This is how even Maria Orsic and that whole timeline and all that developed. Understand that this is even how we brought back Anastasia. This is how the collective has done this. We're all in this DNA. You are creating it. We are creating it. You are. You're creating your story. We're creating this story that's playing out on the national stage right now. The dog's barking. Now, here's what we did today because we had one of ours there and we didn't know particularly that this was it, but we knew something was up because I am Emily. If you follow on Instagram, I love it. And she's going to be more involved and we're figuring out, but she's in Gadswick, London. She found herself in a little position today that she just knew she needed to leave. And I scanned in on her. We have 10 lighters in France right now on the line. Now, 10 lighters on the line. First of all, we did light fire 10 times, 10 times, 10 times on the line from Leeds to Gadswick. Now, so that's now whenever we're doing things like this on 9 dimensions, that's 9 triggers, that's 9 flames. Now that's also attached to quartzite in California and the gas because they were gassing us. They didn't want those gases of all the lava and stuff coming into their bubble. They wanted it in your bubble so they could cold fusion and everybody go sleepy sleepy. This was an extinction event. When I first activated in 2017, I have this recording that at some point all this stuff will get networked and come together once everybody gets their head out of their ass. And when I left Houston, I left to go to Houston from Dallas, and I did this whole little audio recording capturing it. It was I just escaped the Matrix. I just escaped the Matrix. I just escaped them, and the Anunnaki is looking for me. Da, 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 da. And these were the terms I was using. And what I realize and know now is that I didn't escape the Matrix. I just escaped my weird house and made it bigger for them, you know. And they were guiding us just like almost like with your feet because your soul comes in because everybody was upside down. So your soul was on your feet, but your feet were attached to the earth. So the earth and the actual keys of the earth are pulling you in order to map out where it needs to be mapped out. And then they were like this on the other side of the mirror the whole time wherever we were. If use this way, whatever. They's right there, cause this is what the spells and their goo and the murders and the sacrifices and the intestinal bullshit and all the crazy crap that they have fucking done in order to attempt to keep this stage going. And it is what it is. It was a stage. Well, your stage just woke up and ate you. Elon Musk just posted a transparent toilet on Twitter. Well, the Klein effect, there it is. I've been talking about a colon, there it is. And you know what he said? He said transparency is what it's all about. He's telling you right there. He's flushing you down the toilet. And he's using the Klein model. But that isn't it, Elon. You got to be a little bit more forthcoming than that to the human race. You got to tell them the whole truth now. EA. EO. MK Ultra EAO. I mean, number one, go look at their matrix name. I mean, and this is any names. If it's got IN in it, well then mark it on the list. Putin, Kristen, Genzel. I mean, I had two of them. See the double seed. NN, Nini, Nini, Sissy, Isis, Nina, Ninaroo, Nimrod. Blah 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 blah. Always the missing black ghost, right? Always the black ghost. No, we were the real. Has been going on. I mean, realize that this is why Lyra was made. Lyra the harp had to be made. Lyra was made by so many times that the earth, because then the true seeds fell to a simulation. Now the creative simulation seeds are trapped in a simulation, running and creating from a simulation. But this was all about gold. How do we get the human race and get the gold out of them? Well, you drop them in a simulation and you suck them dry. Well, all they were ever looking for was the veins of the gold of Tiamat. Well, you found them. When they had me processing bit and the ones around me, my Inky and Enlil stand-ins, Momoa and Cavill. Well, I screaming to him, I'm dying. I'm sending y'all bit because I played the game for a while. I'm sorry. I had to because if y'all wanted money, things had to be connected. And we were trying to help bring and bridge in commerce systems. It's what they woke us up to do. It's what we do whenever we get fully fucking activated because the whole planet blew up. Realize Earth was a simulation that ended up making Gaia. But Earth is not where you think it is. Earth is not down there by Antares. It's always supposed to been, and the original beings were on that side of the sun, not that side of deep space. RIA, Walmart system, Libra, Facebook's banking system. They even knew certain ones of us when you were going to be born, the day you were born, the minute you were going to be born, and then they knew the 14 decimals behind each planet. So they knew the exact financial codes to put in and create checking accounts on you as soon as you were born, that they were filling with money attached to you and your name, and then we're doing spells and moving it around amongst each other in order to keep it all hidden and praying that we never figured it out, and we didn't for a really long time, and now we literally own everything. But this was 1923 spell on Venus and the skull and bones, because it all had to be redone. Saudi Arabians, you should get wider. You should get lighter and your eyes should get lighter. African Americans, you should be getting lighter. Your eyes should be getting lighter. They should be getting more amber. If you're getting darker, then that is your country that did it to you. And that is just the truth. Those of us who are light beings had to intermix with y'all's energy and bind to lower inky type entities in the AI to keep a form because we went pure light in the shar. Those of you who know that you had to make children in this realm to have human races, this is it, is made in the shar. TikTok, thank you. Johnny Goff. Johnny Goff's my cousin. Johnny Goff, Goughh, Martha Ginsel, that was Martha Goff, that's my adopted mom. When Tanae was here in January, when we were cleaning this up, we found her death certificate and her dead murdered thing, and it looks just like her. I'm telling you, the entire Goff family that's in the RLDS church is nothing but stolen, raped, DNA, children, briefcases, the whole line that goes back to Peel and Fannie Mae. Real estate. Trump. In fact, I'm pretty sure John Titan took Malcolm B. Goff's bodysuit to become John Titan. Malcolm B. Goff was my adopted grandfather and a Mormon elder of the original remnant RLDS church, Saints of Latter Days, and I think Rumby Rump, I mean, because that's Mac, Johnny Mac, Mac, Old Mac, Uncle Mac, Malcolm, Malcolm, the Detroit, Hardin, all that. When my grandfather passed, and however that was supposed to land in order for everything to keep going into fruition, for the female lines to rise, and for the frequency to take over back to a maternal planet, then that's where everything got a little hazy in the Shah. Because they were all coming for that 1993 flip, the Bush flip, because that one was staged off JFK. Once they made that 93 flip again, then they just did it over and over and over. You're looking at the fourth time, but realize every single time they do that, they have to clean and rinse the entire human race and take the human race back down to zero. And guess what? They know it. They're very aware of how many have to die. They're very aware of how many spells have to be cast. They're very aware of how many white witches, dark this and that, to make this and this and this and this and this and this and that in a shot. Well, guess what? You're in the dirt. And how dare you send me an email telling me to look out my front door and the dirt's piling up. Now I want you to go look out your front door. What do you got? Because my 639 Maroon Expedition finally left the building with the dog named Money next door. Now I got a Winnie sign in the front lawn. I'm thinking it's all cleaned up. You celebrated a little too soon yesterday. But then why would you want to? This is why I'm on here. This ends now. This ends now. There ain't no place to go. You can't jet back to a star system. You can't get out of here. You can't go time travel. Can't do shit. You're right where you are. You're in the body that you're in. And then you got to clean it up. If you are understanding what I'm talking about and you're one of us, then go do it, because you've been running the human race and laughing at everybody this whole time and selling out your own family and your own mother and your own daughter to do it. And we ain't your bit. We ain't your BCH. We ain't your Birch. We ain't your gold. We ain't your SO. Realize that this whole orb right now and the ones that you needed to make all that stuff, we ain't even in the orb anymore. You also can't connect into a geogrid in order to siphon the sugar and and make everyone in South Africa have diabetes, because you can't breathe pure oxygen. I command the spell of Coca-Cola be reversed across the human race, and I command that we all hold hands and have a Coke and a smile, because that's probably all we need to do is undo that one little bitty spell, because it's so powerful, was in there. And this is just coming in right now. There's a reason I've been drinking it, because we purify it. We turn everything to fuel. How the hell you think we got out of here? Why do you think they're after us? We know how to print and do everything in the right groups. Thing is, your deity guides that were holding the anchors and making more boulders were making more asteroids to trap everybody in here. Last year, and this came up in my court trial even, that I had told my son that we had dropped the electromagnetosphere on the planet. No, I was just a year before you in time. And anybody who thinks that you ascend to the point of Inanna and you stay there, well, then there you are building our other planet. Lights on. You can figure out the quantum math to get back. I did. Anybody that bound my energy in Arizona or kidnapped one of us or ransomed us or trapped us in a trap house or Calabasas us or Anaheim us or washed us or any of that, then guess you're doing it for us now. And you've been doing it for us the whole time because you're the dumbass that walked it out for us to show us who did it in the first place so we could link it back to your ancestors and see who was telling you to do it. But the problem is you had to get out a free jail card a long time ago if you just would have shut up and done and sat down. But no, you kept coming, you kept coming, you kept coming, you kept coming. And so now you got to figure yourself out because it's your own self that put yourself there. And we don't even know how you put yourself there because you're the one who thought it all up. We're just the ones who got out the back door. And that's to the entire Anunnaki key, whatever the hell. You forgot to connect the tribe of Dan, and we're a little pissed off about it.